We're talking college sports in the Deep South where college football is king. We would like to think the SEC conference is one of the better conferences in all of college football. And of course, the SEC West has a brand of being very competitive and physical, especially at the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the football. Once again, it's K-Stu the GOAT for Vernon Speaks Sports, Auburn, War Eagle. Now, I had an opportunity to stumble across a video the other day. Actually, I was prompted by one of the subscribers, a hype video, if you will, about Ride. It was called Ride for the Brand. The players were getting hyped. They were, doing different dances and everything, trying to get, pumped up, so to speak. Riding for the brand. It's actually inspiration of a song that just came out. And I think, for the most part, when you talk about the brand of Auburn, a pretty appropriate video, I think. However, to detract that thing, I guess at this point, my viewpoint as far as branding, period, nothing against the video. The video actually helped give me the idea for the story. But I think at this point, Auburn has to reestablish what the brand is for Auburn football. Over the past few years, especially under the Gus Malzahn era, there's been a real inconsistency as to what the brand of Auburn football looks like, and that has caused some rift, I think, among the fan base. And see, a lot of fans, they aren't particularly in love with Gus Malzahn. Although Gus Malzahn has helped Auburn to have some of the more successful recruiting classes in Auburn history. His teams, for the most part, except for the 2015 season, of course, 2018 season, has been at some point in conversation for aspirations to either win the SEC West or do a little bit more. So he's placed Auburn in unique positions that were unprecedented before. However, I think, to really help some of the Auburn fan base out in understanding their disdain for Gus Malzahn is the fact that his coaching philosophies have not always matched up with what Auburn's perceived brand is. One of the reasons why we came to love Auburn football, at least for myself, is the intensity at which Auburn played, even though in a lot of cases Auburn was, severely outmatched by most of the upper tier teams in the SEC, like your Floridas, LSU's, Alabama's, and even at times Georgia. Auburn still played at a very high, very consistent, and a very reasonable manner to watch. It wasn't like you left the game scratching your head as if you just absolutely did not understand what you just saw. And when you talk about a brand, you talk about continuity, you talk about reliability, you talk about something that when you watch it or when you're a part of it, it's a reflection in a roundabout kind of way of you. Because that's the reason why we wear certain brands of clothes. That's the reason why we like to wear the Auburn logo or whatever. That's the reason why we work, for the most part, where we work, because there's something about that company that's a representation of what we believe in. And that's something that Auburn has to begin this year. I would like to say, in the most humble way possible, that you can't. It's almost like we're putting the cart before the horse, right? We have to reestablish the brand first before we can ride for the brand. The brand has to be reestablished. The brand has to be solidified. And the way this thing is going to be solidified, of course, is solidifying a decent brand of offense. I actually like the Gus Malzahn offense when the run pass option is going full steam. But Gus Malzahn made the decision because he didn't understand what kind of brand of football he wanted to run. He made a decision to stop calling plays. See, that's what happens when you look up to Tuscaloosa and you see Nick Saban is the CEO of the team, but that's his brand. That's his brand. He has coaches around him that he trusts enough to continue his brand. And if they don't continue his brand, he finds ways to get rid of them. But Gus Malzahn has to understand that that's not his coaching philosophy. And every now and then when we are new to something, we don't all the way know where we want to go with something. Now, he made the bold decision. And I'm pretty sure, not coerced, but probably advised, of course, in some form by Alan Green, to get back to doing what his own personal brand was, and that's running an offensive scheme. And he ran it to a high level of success, including in 2010, over 500 yards a game, almost 40 points per game. That's something that he established as something that he is good at, but he gave up the reins trying to be something that at this point in his career, he's absolutely not. Okay? So that's the thing that we want to look at when we talk about riding for the brand. It's something that I think is very necessary, because even as a fan base, the fan base has even changed to a lot of whining and complaining, about what Gus Malzahn is doing, about what, is happening with the program. But at a certain point, you have to be like this. Look, either you're going to support the team or you're not. Sometimes I get on this thread on Facebook 24/7, and all you see is a bunch of whining and complaining and Gus blaming and all of those different things, and it gets a little bit exhausting. But I think this particular year, Auburn has a great opportunity with so much depth coming back, with so much experience coming back, a relatively effective recruiting class, arguably a great case scenario with the quarterback battle that's taking place over the summer. Very, very deep at the very important positions of the Gus Malzahn run offense, skilled players, receivers, and running backs. A lot more athleticism at the linebacker position, we would like to believe. I think this is all a good setup for a very, very good season for the Auburn Tigers. One thing that Gus Malzahn has not done, which is totally against what the brand represents, is just not taking advantage of opportunities. This year, he has to be fully aware and fully and coach with a level of urgency where he understands what is ahead of him. He understands the fact that you have the lives of these young men, at least at this point in their lives, in your hands. And you have to do by them all the promises that you made during the recruiting process. Not sure with the conversation between he and Derek Brown. You owe it to even Derek Brown, who is sacrificing possibly making money already in the NFL, to come back to Auburn based on the things you said would probably happen. You really have to deliver at this point. I think that's where Gus Malzahn is with the brand of Auburn football. He just has to deliver. I really love this topic, man. I saw this in the comment section, and branding is definitely important as it relates to Auburn football. There's so many traditions surrounding Auburn football: the Tiger Walk, rolling, Toomer's Corner, the Eagle flying before the game. Just so many great traditions. The pregame festivities in Jordan-Hare Stadium, the tailgating, all the things that surround Auburn's culture and why we actually believe in Auburn and love it. Once again, it's Case to go for Vernon Speak Sports. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We talk about Auburn football like nobody else's business. Haven't been doing a lot of statistical analysis here lately. This is the off season. Got a couple of months before the Advocare Classic. We're going to get back into schedule breakdowns, position breakdowns. But until then, we're just having a little fun, y'all. War Eagle.